Now, I've worked in the healthcare field for over 5 years and I've noticed a rather interesting pattern. You see, the recovery time of my patients has a huge correlation with whether or not they believe they will get better. That is why it is so important that despite all of life's challenges, and spoiler alert, there are many of them, that we believe there is a way to overcome it. So in today's video, I want to share a rather interesting experiment on something called learned helplessness, as well as how we can overcome it in order to level up in the game of life. In the year 1967, a psychologist by the name of 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀 conducted an experiment to study how individuals would react in challenging situations in different circumstances. So in this experiment, Martin essentially separated dogs into 3 different groups. For the first group, the dogs were placed in cages and a very slight electrical current was actually ran through the floor of the cage. The dogs, however, were given a lever they could actually hit in the cage to stop this electrical current. So of course, many of the dogs did that. Now as for the second group, these dogs were put into the same cages, but now the lever was not given to them to actually stop the electrical current. So the dogs kind of have to put up with the pain just for a little bit. I'm sorry if this is a little difficult to hear, but this is what Martin did. Now as for the third group, they simply served as the control group where there was nothing being done to the cage, so the dogs were just simply there to be compared with the other 2 groups. Now for the second trial of these experiments, the dogs were again put into a cage, but the difference now is that there was a little fence placed in the cage where it separated the floor, where one side was actually being electrocuted and one side wasn't. For the first group of dogs, the ones that had the lever to actually stop the electrical current, when they were put in a situation that we felt discomfort due to the electrical current, they actually jumped the fence to actually escape the situation. Now, curiously however, the second group, the dogs that weren't given a means to escape, despite having the option to jump the fence to actually stop their discomfort, they stayed on the side of the fence that had the electrical current. They basically put up with the discomfort because they felt that there was no way to actually escape their mean. So despite having a means to escape, the second group of dogs, they did not really try to escape the situation because they learned that there probably wasn't a way to escape this. So what we really found through this experiment is that individuals that felt that they can't really escape a situation, and I know right now in this current economy, we have a lot of challenges, either financially, health, relationships, all these different types of stuff. We often all go through really difficult times. And if we're constantly referring to the past on difficult situations that happened to us before, we're not really going to try to improve on our situations today, which is where many people tend to fall into. Alright, so if you understand the implications of learned helplessness, how it affects individual, the next question now is what can you do if you're in these situations? Because I know that there are many people, including myself, that have felt this before, right? You failed at something before and now you're presented with a similar situation in today's time. So you're probably like, it happened to me before, and if I even try to do anything now, I'll most likely fail. I mean, a prime example of this is, say you're always constantly struggling with money. I know that I went through this challenge as well, and previously before, I'm like, my goodness, no matter how hard I work, no matter how much I try, things aren't really going to get better. I have to cross my fingers, hope that the government's going to help me, hope my boss is going to give me a raise. And this is sort of what I mean, because you want to put in a situation before where you didn't really have an escape from a situation. Maybe you're in a very challenging financial situation before, so right now you've kind of resigned to the fact that things aren't really going to get better. Of course, this is just one example. I know there are many more, but the idea here is that you're basing off your success in today's time based off previous experiences. But what you need to understand is that if you want your situation to improve in today's time, you need to believe that you can get better. You need to believe that there is a light of the tunnel, and human beings, we need that. We need to have hope. Oftentimes, it's very difficult to have it when you haven't really seen a path to success there. So what exactly can you do? And in my opinion, I try to do 3 simple things when it comes to overcoming my sense of learned helplessness. So starting off with the first one is to always take responsibility. Now, there's a lot of things that will go wrong in your life and is probably going on right now, and oftentimes it's not even under your control. However, what you need to do is you need to take responsibility and understand that only you can make a difference. Because at the end of the day, if you don't try to improve on your situation, nobody is really going to help you. And to really give you an example, say you're not really making enough in your job right now and it's a really shitty situation to be in, you cannot rely on your boss or the government to help you. Because at the end of the day, you need to think about what you can do. You need to take responsibility and think about how you can improve your situation. Can you improve on your skills? Can you go ahead and get more knowledge on the stuff? Can you seek more information in order to change what you're going through right now? Many people, however, have kind of accepted the fact that the economy is this way, this is how things are, I just kind of have to sit this through. But that's not true though, because if you don't take responsibility to improve on your situation, then obviously things are going to stay the same. Just like the dogs, right? Because there is a way for them to escape that, but because they've already accepted the fact that, they have to kind of put up with the discomfort, it, this is how things are. They don't really try to escape it. But there is always a way to escape. You just have to do the hard work to seek it. And that is going to be the first step you can take. Now, as for the second thing you can do is to narrow your focus. I understand that life can be extremely overwhelming. There's way too many things to focus on, right? You probably have a family, you have bills to pay, you need to watch out for your health. There's so many things to focus on that it gets a little bit overwhelming, right? And oftentimes, because we already work so much, we have so much commitments, there's not a lot of time to do a lot of things. And when people want to actually escape these situations, and what people tend to do is that they kind of set these huge goals, and they set a lot of them. They fill out the calendar with things to do, like go to the gym, 2-3 hours a day, make sure they're eating healthy, make sure they're improving on their finances. They set all these huge goals, which is a good start, but I made this mistake, right? I filled out my calendar with a bunch of stuff, and guess what happened? I failed at achieving a lot of them. So what you need to do instead is to narrow down your focus, because understand this and be a little bit more humble that you really suck at getting things done, because you're barely getting started, there's not a lot of things to do. And what you need to do is you need to build momentum, and you do that by narrowing down your focus, by only focusing on 1 or 2 things. For example, maybe you have a New Year's resolution for like 10 different goals. You need to narrow it down to just 1 or 2, at least for right now, right? And once you get the ball rolling with those kind of things, when you start small, just focus on those 2 goals, and once you are able to accomplish that, then you add on more stuff. Because trust me on this, you need a lot more time to rest and to think and to collect yourself than you think you need. So if you're constantly just overloading yourself with stuff, and of course this is up for debate, but if you're overloading yourself with too much things to do, what eventually happens is you fail, and then you feel like you can't really make progress, and then it's that whole cycle again, right, of learned helplessness. You feel like you can't make progress, so you're gonna give up, so you're not gonna really try, and then you're gonna fail the next goal, then the next goal, and the next goal. We need to flip the script, and we need to start succeeding instead on the first goal and take that momentum into all the other goals. At least that's what I do, and that's how I saw a lot more success. And lastly, the third thing you need to do is you need to make your goals as simple as possible, because oftentimes you set this huge goals, which is completely fine again, but because these goals are so big, right, it's so difficult to achieve. When you're starting from zero, when you have completely nothing and you're trying to build that momentum up, it can seem so overwhelming to try to achieve that goal. For example, again, say you want to go to the gym 3 times a week, an hour each time, right? Now, instead of going for an hour, how about you try just going for 5 minutes? I know it might not be that helpful just to go for 5 minutes, but just try it out, because what you need to do is you need to see progress. That's how human beings are. In fact, like in video games, right, what makes a video game rewarding is that you actually start to see progression in your character as you get stronger and stronger in order to tackle that challenge. In life, if you're just stacking on difficult things again and again and again, it can feel so difficult to actually move through the ranks. So make your goals as simple as possible and just try to accomplish them and slowly increase the difficulty. This is what I do with my patients, because oftentimes they come to the hospital, they're extremely weak, they can't do a lot of things, right? They feel that they'll never get better, and I start off by giving them extremely simple goals. Let's do that, and we'll build on that, and eventually in time, they will meet their goal. So those are the 3 things right there. You want to make sure that you accept responsibility for whatever situation you're in. You narrow down your focus to only 1 or 2 goals at a time, and you make those goals as simple as possible in order to achieve. Try this out and see how things go. So that's about it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, and go ahead and check out this video over here on more content just like this. As always, my name is 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘀, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care. Peace.